So today we make this satisfying, simple, quick and easy. To break this down, we're going to take a plane, add some loop cuts to make faces, and if you're not a beginner, you would know every face has normals pointing into one direction. And then we are going to take two of such planes having their normals facing each other, apply a solidify modifier, and then finally use GeoNodes to use an external object to make this effect. I hope you're excited, and let's get started. Alright folks, so let's begin. I will first of all gather a plane and I will scale it roughly, and I will also get in a camera. Just drag it back and I will press Ctrl Numpad O to zoom it in. Let's drag in a new window here, and first of all if you go into your viewport display here, just make it to 1 so we only see whatever our camera is seeing here. Alright, now click on the camera and roughly get it to, this rotation should be around 50 to 60, I mean 57, 58 will be fine, and change into orthographic view. Let's zoom it in. Alright, right there. And now let's roughly set up the walls. I will put my 3D cursor there, Shift A, let's add in a cube and just keep seeing right inside to the camera, and I will scale it down something like this. How thick and tall the wall should be, it is up to you. And I will get in my first wall here and Shift D copy and get another one there. So this is just to get us an idea how it would look. Maybe we can get in some more distance in between, something like this, so we can see the ball. Let's select this and maybe scale it a bit down, something like this. I think now we're good to go. And now we don't need the other wall. That was just for our own understanding. Let's delete it, and also let's select this, Control I X, delete all the faces but this, keep this one. And now let's make in some loop cuts. I will press tab and Control R to have some horizontal loop cuts and some vertical. Just make sure you're making squares. It would look weird if you have irregular rectangles around it. I think that looks fine. And now for our own understanding, I will click on this option and check in. This should be an option. This is face orientation. So you should know that on which side each face is. I will Shift D, go into the top view, Shift D, and just look here how thick the wall should be. I think this is fine. And now you will realize that both of these positions are facing that side. The normals are facing that side. I will select this plane RZ 180 so that the planes are facing towards themselves. I will just bring this a bit closer, something like this. And now let's just switch back to a normal view. I will just uncheck face orientation and select both of these planes, press Ctrl J to join them, and add in a solidify modifier. And if you increase the thickness, they should be going towards themselves, and make sure just roughly get them to a point where you can't see the seam. Alright, so now let's work on the geometry nodes part now. I will get in a panel here, open geometry node editor, press N to hide that menu, select this, press new. So first thing first, I want this wall to expand along its normal. To do that, I need a set position node. Set position, as the name suggests, it offsets its x, y and z coordinates, but to do that on the normals, I need some information from this mesh. So I will spawn in a capture attribute node and get this here and select faces and get in a normal and plug this in. Alright, and this information, let's plug this in the offset. And now something is happening, and let's make sure that solidify modifier is happening after the GeoNodes modifier. Alright, now we are right. Let's select this and get in a vector math node. Alright, something like this, and anything multiplied by 0 is 0, and if you increase or decrease it, the wall will offset along its normals. That is what we want. And now let's control this parameter by an external object like a sphere just get in an UV sphere and just scale it roughly like this, place it here and select this plane again and just drag and drop this UV sphere inside, press relative, gather in a proximity node and plug this information here, and also math, choose divide and plug distance and scale. So this 3-node setup gives us the information of this object scale and location. Alright, now let's just plug this in and see what happens. Not quite of what our liking. For now let's switch off our solidify modifier to understand it much better. As we are bringing this closer and scaling it up and down, the walls are moving along the normals, which is what we want. Let's adjust it more by adding in a color ramp, something like this. Let's bring these sliders a bit close. Alright, so they are not moving much farther apart. To adjust more, I will add in a math node, set it to multiply, and if you increase it, the distance between them will increase much more. Let's keep it like that, and let's switch on our solidify modifier, which is looking very ugly right now, but we will get around it. First of all, I need split edges so that our squares, if you see, comes out very cleanly. Further, I will add in just a capture attribute node, Shift D, copy it and place it in between, and I will plug in a position. To make you understand this step, let's switch off the solidify modifier. So right now what is happening is the expansion is taking into account the vertices also. So we want a clean face cut. To do that, I will use a face position, plug this information into sample position proximity socket, and now we have our clean faces forming, which is what we want. Let's get back our solidify modifier and do some adjustments here, something like this. Maybe let's increase this factor, and now we have a clean ball going through the walls. Simple and easy, not a big setup, but gives out the big result. And now I will just simply go to the top view, select this plane, Shift D to copy it, and let's keep it there. Alright, also let's further adjust our camera, get it to center, and now if you take your ball to that side, it will do the same trick. And now let's start the animation. I will get in a curve circle and adjust it like this. And now let's get this ball in this curve now. Select this ball and press Alt G to get this to the world origin. This step is important for our next step. And I will get in a constraint, follow path, and select this part, and your ball will directly land on this. And now to animate it, just select fixed position, follow curve, and get in a keyframe here, and let's go far ahead, press Ctrl T to get the seconds. Let's make it around a 4-second loop somewhere here, and drag it to 1, and another keyframe there. Just make it end towards there, maybe one frame behind that. Press T, click linear, and now our animation is ready. One thing to consider here is that just make sure that you have a smooth curve here. Alright, it shouldn't have any sharp turns, otherwise your animation could turn out really bumpy and shaky. Now let's do some rendering now. Alright, just stop it here, press render, and I will first of all, nothing complex, I will just add in area light up above and just brighten it up, maybe 30 watts. Just increase the size of it, something like this, and also Shift D, copy our X90, add a subtle amount of light there, maybe 5 watts. Let's hide it and see, or even I think 7 watts maybe. Let's hide the overlays and see our animation. Maybe we can adjust the fall off, maybe something like this, less distance, Alright, cool. Maybe just have a smoother fallout. Nice. And now let's do some shading on it. So I want all the faces affected by this ball to be of different colors. For that, I will get in a store name attribute, connected here, choose vector, and that information comes from our ball, which is this, and geometry proximity node, which is this, and it is ending right here. Let's plug this information here. You can name this anything. I will name it COL, and also give this a material. Set material and press new here, name it anything. SDFS is the material. I will get in a new window, shader editor, and get in an attribute node. And if you SDF or no, not SDFS, COL, and connect it there, boom, we have exactly the faces which are being affected by the ball of different color. Now I am going to use this as a mask between. Let's get in a mix shader, get this into the factor, principal BSDF, and emission, something like this. And you can give this any color, maybe red, orange, blue. Let's spice this up more by adding a mix shader for the hair and add in a glass BSDF, something like this, and slightly, maybe you can find your own sweet spot. I think this is fine, and this is it. I hope you enjoyed it, and tag me on Instagram if you're doing this, and I will happily share this into my stories. See you next time.